The Trouble. Once upon a time, in a little village in Bulgaria, two brothers lived in a small, whitewashed house with a kind mother and a very wise father. The brothers were as different as summer and winter. Petr, the elder, was tall, calm, and careful. Stoyan, the younger, was quick, lively, and always ready for adventure. Their mother kept the home warm and full of the smell of fresh bread, while their father knew more sayings, rhymes, and old lessons than anyone else in the village. Most market days, the two brothers would ride into town with their father, who guided the cart, told them stories, and fixed anything that broke along the way. One golden morning, their father said, "Today, my sons, you will go to the market on your own. Chestnut, the horse, knows the way, and you are ready to manage without me." The brothers felt proud, then just a little nervous. The brothers started, loading up their cart with baskets of bright red apples. Chestnut was already harnessed and pawing the ground, eager to go. Their father stood by the gate, leaning on his walking stick. His eyes were sharp with wisdom, and he had a half-smile that made you feel like he knew something you didn't yet. "Take care on the road," their father said, patting Chestnut the horse on the neck. "And remember this little rhyme: when axles creak and wheel hubs wobble, call 3 times loud, Madam Trouble. She will come to teach, not only to mend. The lesson she brings makes helpers of men." Petr and Stoyan laughed. "Call Madam Trouble," said Stoyan. "Does she live in the woods?" Their father chuckled. "She lives where lessons live. Call her and see what happens. Sometimes help arrives wrapped as a lesson, and sometimes the lesson is the helping." They loaded their cart with bright red apples, climbed aboard, and waved. Chestnut trotted off under a sky full of puffy clouds. The road sang under the wheels, bumpity bump bump. The brothers sang too, loud enough that the birds paused to listen. Bump, bump, crack, the cart tipped. One wooden wheel had split clean in two. Apples rolled like tiny suns across the dirt. Chestnut stamped and blinked. "Oh no," Stoyan cried. "All those apples." Petr rubbed his chin and remembered their father's rhyme. "Madam Trouble," he said with a little grin. "Let's give her a call, just like Dad said." They stood, palms cupped to their mouths, and shouted together, "Madam Trouble, Madam Trouble, Madam Trouble." They waited. The grass swayed. A beetle marched by. A cloud shaped itself like a giant loaf of bread. But there was no sound of footsteps, no warm laugh, no mysterious lady appearing from behind a tree. Petr sighed. Maybe she didn't hear. They shouted again louder, and with a bit more hope. "Madam Trouble, Madam Trouble, Madam Trouble." Still nothing. Stoyan's face fell. "Did father trick us?" he whispered. "Is Madam Trouble only a rhyme?" Petr looked at the broken wheel, then at the apples, then at Chestnut's patient eyes. He felt something warm and steady inside him, the same feeling he had when he helped his mother carry water, or when he learned to saddle Chestnut. It was a kind of courage that shows up when a thing needs doing. "Maybe," Petr said, "Madam Trouble is a call to our own 2 hands." So they rolled up their sleeves. They took the wheel from the axle and set it gently on the ground. Petr found a long, strong branch. Stoyan fetched a piece of rope from the cart. They worked like a small team of inventors, measuring, sawing, wrapping, pulling. They hummed while they worked, making up little tunes about screws and sticks. The patched wheel looked a little odd, like a hat with a patch sewn on it, but it was brave and clever and ready to roll. When they heaved the wheel back onto the cart, there was a wobble and a creak, and then slowly Chestnut pulled them forward. The cart rode on, a bit lopsided but steady. The brothers laughed, clapped each other on the back, and together they sang the rhyme their father taught them. When axles creak and wheel hubs wobble, call 3 times loud, Madam Trouble. She will come to teach, not only to men. The lesson she brings makes helpers of men. By the time they reached the market, their apples were safe, and their story had already begun to dance through the stalls. A neighbor asked how the cart had been fixed. Petter and Stoyan looked at each other and winked. "That's our secret," Stoyan said, grinning. Madam Trouble came, after all, and she looked a lot like 2 muddy brothers, with smiles. At dusk, they walked the cart up the lane, and before they opened the gate, they stopped by the fence where their father waited, pipe in hand, as if he had not moved an inch all day. "Did Madam Trouble come?" he asked, eyes twinkling. "She did," the brothers told him, "in bolts and rope and hard work. She taught them patience and the happy ache of a job well done. She smelled faintly of hay and apple peelings and was exactly the size of their own 2 hands." Their father nodded slowly and then said, "Good. You called her, and she answered. That is the oldest kind of help. The next time the road gives you trouble, you won't be afraid to answer her back with your hands." That night, by the warm stove, the brothers told their mother all about their trip. She tucked a bundle of biscuits into the cupboard and said, "A lesson that comes with bread is a lesson you will remember." Petar and Stoyan fell asleep, listening to the quiet, proud creak of the house, another wheel in life turning right along. From then on, any time something creaked or cracked, anyone in the village who'd learned the rhyme would smile and call, just for fun, Madam Trouble. And the children would giggle because they knew what would happen next. The grown-ups would roll up their sleeves, put aside excuses, and start fixing. Madam Trouble never failed to arrive. She simply showed up in the hands and hearts of those who chose to help. The end. Moral: some helpers come in coats and boots, and some helpers come in the shape of our own 2 hands. Call Madam Trouble if you like, then be ready to be the answer.